if I don't like, could I ask you?
Yeah.
Is that throwing you into it too much? Or, but like, could you talk to me about like how you came to like understand who you are? And...
Removo de nutso. To be clear, all of this is just skin in the game. It's ritualistic obeisance to an entire worldview. And the more ridiculous they can make you, the more ridiculously and deeply they can make you bow, the more they will have achieved victory. This is the goal. And they haven't.
Do you realize how ridiculous this is? Like, honestly, truthfully, when you think about it? We're talking about the utility of the English language. You have been using pronouns your entire life, Ben Shapiro. You have used pronouns multiple times in this very video, and you will continue to use pronouns because pronouns are useful. Yes, I'm glad that they exist in the English language when we want to use them. In this case, however, why is it all of a sudden like, they, them? Cool! Harry Potter? More like Mary Potter. Hell yeah.
Well, folks, the trans activism has now infused pretty much every area of our culture. Harry Potter, or at least the guy who plays Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, apparently he has now decided that it's better.
Now I know exactly what this is about. Awesome. You know what? I'm so here for this. I'm really happy that fucking Ben Shapiro is going to be sounding off on this issue. I want to know his thoughts. I don't know if you all know this, and if you're British and you're watching me, you probably are well aware. The gender critical movement, aka the transphobic TERF movement, aka the hate groups. They're just hate groups. That's all they are. We'll call them what they are. They have this idea that Daniel Radcliffe, because he's been such an outspoken ally of the trans community and genuinely seems like a nice person, he has been dating a trans woman. And it's the crew that always can tell, right? You know how they're always like, oh, we can always tell. No, we know, sweetie. That, by the way, the we can always tells have been fucking fooled by J.K. Rowling. Like, we can always tells have fucking straight up thought J.K. Rowling was trans. Like, to them, everything is trans. Like, everything they don't like is trans. Well, you have an opinion I don't enjoy? Trans, you know? That cosmic, because, yeah. So, they've been saying the same thing about Daniel Radcliffe's girlfriend, who's a cis woman, who's not only a cis woman, she's pregnant with his child. Yes. So, good job, gender criticals. Really putting the critical as in critical thinking aspect into it.
To be Mary Potter. He's actually promoting trans propaganda on behalf of the Trevor Project. You have Daniel Radcliffe, who, has he done anything since Harry Potter? I'm not aware that he's done anything of note since Harry Potter.
What? Are you serious? You're supposed to be the movie guy. You're like the cool bigot that also likes to, like, just take it easy and enjoy a little Top Gun every now and then, you know? I'm not just pure bigotry. Come on. I like movies too. What about in the last year? Let's just talk about the fucking Weird Al fucking movie. It was awesome. I'll be honest, when I watched that Weird Al movie, I went into it not really wanting to see it, and then maybe 10 minutes into it, I was like, oh shit. This whole thing is just going to be fake and a rip on like this genre of biopics. Okay, I'm so here for this. This is what Weird Al, and I was almost said would have wanted, but would want, because yeah, that seems exactly right up his alley. It was fucking hilarious. Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Trying to promote the Trevor Project.
Swiss Army Man is too highbrow. Yeah, no, Ben Shapiro's not watching Swiss Army Man. Yeah, that one's by the Davids. Is that it? That duo, the white guy and the Asian guy who make fucking amazing movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once. They're the ones who made Swiss Army Man, didn't they?
Is a Trans the Kids organization.
Thank you. The Daniels, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Radcliffe. This week I was incredibly fortunate to get to meet 6 young people who agreed to come and share their stories with us, and also to have a conversation about allyship and the people in their lives who have shown up for them and made a positive impact on their lives and their journeys. So yeah, I'm excited to share that conversation with you. I would love to talk to you all if you're, depending on how much you want to say, but like, I'd love to know about all your journeys and like discovering who you are, and I'd also like to talk about some people in your life that may have helped or that you see as an ally in some way. If I don't, like, could I ask you?
Yeah.
Is that throwing you into it too much? Or, but like, could you talk to me about like how you came to like understand who you are? And...
Removo de nutso. It's very every aspect of the culture. And by the way, Daniel Radcliffe is a superhero because the person who actually made him famous, J.K. Rowling, for writing the Harry Potter series, actually believes that girls can't become boys and boys cannot become girls, because she is still more connected to reality than the actor who reads all of the words on the screen. It's directed at kids, obviously. That's what that is about. Cartoon Network is now teaching kids to use pronouns. They put out this little cartoon on Twitter itself. Gender pronouns describe a person's gender identity. Examples of pronouns are she, her, they, them, and je. If you're comfortable, you can share your own pronouns, says Cartoon Network. Hi, my name is Cam. My pronouns are they, them. Wow, I thought there was only she, her, and he, him. No, you ignorant. Oh, no, it says, I'm Alex. Mine are they, them, too. I'm Chloe. The pronouns that describe my identity are she, her. Cool. Ignorant. Oh, no, it says, I'm Alex. No, you ignorant. Oh, no, it says, I'm Alex. Mine are they, them, too. No, you ignorant. No, you ignorant. You ignorant. They, them, too. They, them, too. They, them, too. They, them, too. I'm Chloe. The pronouns that describe my identity are she, her. Cool. Let's be clear. All of this is just skin in the game. It's ritualistic obeisance to an entire worldview. And the more ridiculous they can make you, the more ridiculously and deeply they can make you bow, the more they will have achieved victory. This is the goal. And they have it.
Do you realize how ridiculous this is? Like, honestly, truthfully, when you think about it? We're talking about the utility of the English language. You have been using pronouns your entire life, Ben Shapiro. You have used pronouns multiple times in this very video, and you will continue to use pronouns because pronouns are useful. Yes, I'm glad that they exist in the English language when we want to use them. In this case, however, why is it all of a sudden like, they, them, cool?
Total political victory, by the way. It's certainly internationally on the left. You know, Matt Walsh's question, what is woman, has completely broken the brains of people on the left.
I don't think I'll ever have the displeasure of being within the same proximity as Matt Walsh, because he doesn't really seem to like leaving the basement or wherever it is he does that weird ass fucking walrus furry power hour thing that he's got going down. But if I was asked that question, yeah, it's a very easy one. Not a single leftist was broken by that. It's like, do you think it's a gotcha if you're like, what's a woman? And someone's like, an adult human female. And they're like, huh, yeah. What's a female?
Because it turns out that they actually can't defend any of their actual positions. Here, for example, is the New Zealand Prime Minister being asked what a woman is and being utterly confused by the most obvious question in human history.
How do you and how does this government define a woman?
To be honest, Sean, that question's come.
Don't Jewish priests bite off babies' penises' skin? Cartoon Network can explain that one. Well, no, I think that's a very broad statement. There are incredibly small percentages of like hardcore Orthodox rabbis who may consider that practice to still be acceptable, but for the large part, I would say broadly speaking, the Jewish community does not endorse or support that at all, and has come a long way from that. There's don't get me wrong, there's historically cases in New York, for example, where they were trying to fight for religious freedom to be able to perform that entire ceremony, but obviously, like, this is something where I don't think people should have religious freedom to do something like that. I mean, it's child endangerment and fucking torture, right? And
I'm slightly out of left field for me. Biology, sex, gender.
Sex.
People define themselves. People define their own genders.
Yeah.
It's all a parody. This is straight from The Office.
You know what's so weird is because you're so far from the Overton window, it all seems like cartoonish to you. To all the right. They're so far gone into this entire fucking like trans ideology, children's genitals, blah, blah, that when they see the actual reality of the world, when people are like, oh, so we just want to tell you about some new concepts. Like, do you understand how many different fields of study have a much greater understanding of this than us mere mortals ever will? Like, it's gone all the way to like fields of fucking neuroscience where they actually check and study like brain waves and patterns based on scans of both men, women, and trans women, trans men, and have discovered with the ability to show through double-blind testing and statistics and all that kind of shit that trans women have similar patterns to cis women, closer patterns to cis women than they do to cis men. That's fascinating. That's so cool. It's so neat learning these things, right? And having just, again, a variety of fields to be able to explain a whole bunch of different complex topics. We don't have to restrict ourselves to the understanding that there are two sexes, that basically, based on, you know, the gametes, whether you're going to have XX or XY, you're going to become a boy or a girl, and those are the two sexes. And it's like, well, there's actually a whole bunch of different things that go into determining what someone's eventual sex could be. And because of the presence of intersex people, of which there is a lot of intersex people, probably way more than you thought, their very existence pulls that whole idea into question. It's actually far more complex than we originally thought, and simply associating something like this is man, this is woman with their genitals doesn't work. It doesn't work. There are people who are born with the genetics of men, but because of a condition they do not have the same levels of testosterone. Because of that, they look biologically female. One of them is a beauty queen. One of them is a woman who is a South African beauty queen. She's a South African beauty, like, by the standards of what is supposed to be considered a beautiful woman. What is a woman, right? She is considered to be of those high standards. She's a beauty queen contestant. If you were to look at her, like, makeup, her DNA, if you were able to sequence her code, it would look on paper as she is genetically what you would consider to be a male. But she's not. And that's the wild thing. That's why that alone, even the example they use, and this is the grossest one, by the way, they do it with purpose, but with the Matt Walshes, the Ben Shapiros, all of those people who use the example of, what about archaeologists? Years from now, archaeologists would dig up the bones, test them, and be able to realize this was a man, this was a woman. In this case, no. No, because in this case, someone who you 100% think is a cis woman, that's not a single fucking Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh in the world would encounter this beauty queen and put that into question. This is not even like, oh, she's passable or something like that, right? They wouldn't have even brought up this line of questioning, but just technically, this is the actual reality of her existence. And that doesn't mean that it throws the idea of what a woman is into disarray. It doesn't take away from the experience of women. Trans women do not take away from cis women's experience any more than trans men take away from cis men's experience. Like cis men having trans men exist on the planet, that's fucking awesome. They make the whole thing so much cooler, you know? Like, the man is more than what you previously thought. We are more complex. The universe is more vast. Things are more interesting. We are not the center of the universe. No, it is a vast, endless amount of space, the likes of which we can't even wrap our fucking heads around.
New Zealand edition. Biology, sex, gender. What do words mean? What are words? Why?
I like this. Ben's having fun with this segment. He's doing accents and shit. His Kiwi accent wasn't bad at first, and then it just went straight to British. To be fair, as do mine. It's hard to hold a Kiwi accent or an Australian accent for a long time.
But what do words mean? What are words?
See, at this point, that's full-on Lord of the Rings style shit, right? Like, he just sounds like one of the elves, you know? Oh, what do words mean? Are we racially pure?
Why are words? Who are we? Deep down inside.
Why does New Zealand Aussie.
Have its own accent? It's really just Aussie, but not quite. Why? Yes. Even reality itself must be disturbed by the predations of the left. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's economic record is absolute garbage. Inflation continues to be at record highs. We still are having a slowing economy. McDonald's is now laying people off. According to the Wall Street Journal, McDonald's has
Wait, we've already moved on? That was the whole Harry Potter? Are we already on to new topics? Why do every single one of you do this? Every right-winger makes the clickies to fucking clickbait. There's usually like half of the thing is just ads or commercials. The content you click on is only the very start, and then they move on to completely different topics.
This is what was happening at the CMT Music Awards on Sunday night. Again, they will not stop until every aspect of the culture has been taken over. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, this is absurd. This is crap from the Hunger Games now. Come on. This person is singing a country song while being surrounded by men dressed in ridiculous female garb from the 1950s. Just absurd.
Okay. We have to clip this because I think, insofar as I've seen, this is the worst example of someone trying to be a React Andy I've ever seen. Like, it's so fucking forced. There's good React Andys, and there's shit React Andys, and there's good React Andreas and shit React Andreas, and good React non-binary individuals as well. In each case, there are varying levels of reactivity, entertainment. This is the worst I've ever seen. I say that without any hesitation.
I'm sorry, this is absurd. This is crap from the Hunger Games now. Come on. This person is singing a country song while being surrounded by men dressed in ridiculous female garb from the 1950s. Just
none of you have real problems. None of you. You have to make up shit. Like, you make other people's lives so shitty, and then you have to make up your own oppression all the time. Oh, God, look what they've done. Look what they took from us. Oh, we used to have country music. Now it's gay. The gays are everywhere. Oh, our companies, our beautiful capitalism. Once a month, they all go gay. They're all so fucking gay. I hate it. Apple's not gay. Apple's not bisexual. Why is Honda gay? I'm so mad. I'm so mad at all the gay.
Just absurd. According to the Los Angeles Times, the live performance made quite the statement.
They have no real problems with us? Yeah. Like, seriously, they don't have real issues. This shit is all make-believe. You are making up your own nightmare. Like, oh, I can't believe how this oppresses me. It's like, sorry, what oppresses you? Oh, the trans kids. Their existence oppresses me. And it's like, how are they affecting you? Do they show up at your house? Do they steal from you? Do they get into the hallways? Or do they hide behind the walls? Are they in the room with us right now? Sir, this is a Wendy's. You're gonna have to leave.
Amid a brewing debate over anti-LGBTQ legislation in Ballerini's home state of Tennessee. With this year's CMT Awards taking place at the Moody Center in Austin, Ballerini appeared emboldened.
I mean, isn't the Country Music Awards being hosted by people that support LGBTQ? Here's the reality of the world, everybody. Most people don't hate LGBTQ plus people. Most like, there's too many of us. I'll be honest. There's too many bisexuals, too many fucking homosexuals, too many trans people. Everyone has one in their family or friends or something at a certain point, or work colleague. You're going to encounter a queer at some point or another. There's a lot of us in the world. And the reality is, once you do, you realize they're just like you. They're the exact same. There's nothing inherently good or bad about the queers. They're just people. They're people like everyone else. There's good queers. There's bad queers. There's evil queers. There's really, really wholesome, incredible ones. All that being said, once that happens, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, so why are we doing this whole culture war shit? Why are we trying to go after the queers so much? Oh, the reason for that is because it distracts us. It distracts all of us. Yeah, from the real people who oppress us. Yeah, like, we'll talk about nebulous terms, the elites. Oh, yeah, the elites. Once again, the elites are trying to destroy the planet. Davos Group, Alex Jones, from 1488, all that kind of shit that he says. Deep down, when it comes down to it, they're not that bad. When you meet queer people, you're like, oh, they're actually pretty awesome. Yeah, this is wonderful. Oh, yeah, maybe I don't have all this hate in my heart. You know? And if you're in a minority of people who just want to be fucking anti-queer bigots like Ben Shapiro, guess what? The majority of the population, that's why all the brands go gay. Because people accept gay people now. They didn't used to. No. In the 1950s, you will not see every corporate logo. General Motors suddenly having a gay No. The fucking factories would be smashed. There would be fucking people looking to lynch homosexuals inside the plants and stuff like that. No. This is a very recent thing. This is where rainbow washing has really become front and center. But that's the reason why now. It's because most people, again, they don't hate the gays in the same way you do.
Broadcast her political stance. Well, she is what a heroine. What an absolute heroine. And the fact that, by the way, she doesn't get to make that call on her own. Presumably, it's the people who produce the CMT Awards and the country music industry in general that seeks to promote all of this garbage. Because they hate their audience. The people who run these corporations hate their audience. The very people they are...
That's, by the way, asinine, but it's the only way you could explain your stance if you were coming from the position of Ben Shapiro. Because that's the only thing that would make logical sense, right? It's like, oh, they're doing this because they hate their audience and they want to punish them somehow by just showing them the gay and they hate them so... It's like, well, no, again, capitalism, these corporate decisions are very, very well calculated. There has been a lot of discussions, meetings, let's just say product testing, design testing, a lot of different, hey, by the way, what do you think about this idea? We have a concept. We're thinking queer. Yeah, why don't we brand ourselves a little bit queer? Kind of makes us seem like we're actually on the side of civil rights. So we're more like, if you buy our products, you're also doing activism. How about that? Because, you know, there's all these well-to-do libs. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to do some activism in the form of shopping. And so if we associate those two things together, then boom, just like that. It's like magic. All of a sudden, all these people are going to be able to vote with their dollars. To do activism with their dollars. Isn't it wonderful? And then they'll think that they're actually changing the world, when really we're going to donate to a bunch of right-wing politicians that are going to make their lives shit. That's right, Disney. Looking at you, Disney. Motherfucking Disney. Yeah, I see you. I see you, Disney. What's going on? Hey, how about that Ron DeSantis? Ooh, yeah, he's not great. Probably shouldn't have donated to his campaign in the past, though, right? Yeah, it's leopards. I tell you, the anti-LGBTQ plus leopards. Yeah, they're ruthless. They're ruthless, and starving. That's the other part. So,
Supposed to cater to. They think that you are a benighted homophobe who hates trans people and you're a garbage person, and therefore you have to be preached to by the stars of RuPaul's Drag Race, our great moral exemplars in Western civilization. The people, the most brave people, we have been told by the White House, are people who believe they're members of the opposite sex. Those are the most brave people. Small children who are confused about their gender. The most brave people. You know, we used to look up to sports stars, successful business people, mom and dad, your local.
So no, we didn't for the just mom and pop shit. But sports stars, yes. And here's the funny thing, we still do. Yep, they're still revered as god kings upon the earth itself. That's still a thing. Yeah, that didn't change.
Religious authority. These are the people we used to look up to. But now the people we look up to are people who cross-dress and or pretend to actually be members of the opposite sex. And every area of the culture
It's so fucked up for you to take the stance, because like all the people, I'm assuming this once again is their obsession with Dylan Mulvaney. They can't fucking let her go from any of their minds. What it really comes down to is this fact that like there's all of these people who've been suffering for a lot of their lives, and if they're now publicly feeling safe enough to talk about that, to be like, hey, here was my lived experience. I was bullied. I was made fun of. I had a really, really rough time. I've constantly struggled. And it sucks because like my gender dysphoria is so real that for a long time I was not happy with who I was as a person. I literally hated who I saw when I looked in the mirror. That kind of shit. It makes sense that because human beings inherently, we're empathetic creatures. We gravitate towards that shit. This is like one of the many splendid things about being a human being, is that like your default setting is not hate, it's empathy. It really is. That's one of the reasons why in my mind fascism never will win ultimately, because like that's what you think first before you get to the next part. If you're walking down the street and you see a person covered in blood and they're homeless and they're really struggling to breathe, your instant gut reaction most likely is not like, disgusting life choices led to this moment. It's like, holy shit, what's happening here? And then you get closer, you realize, oh, they could be ODing. Oh, okay, I want to protect myself. Gotta be a little careful. This person could try and attack me and rob me. And so at that point, you've suddenly got these new filters that you're going to apply, and you're like, disgusting. That's terrible that he did that to himself, that he chose this life. And look at him now, you know, writhing about on the ground, covered in blood and soiling himself. I'm glad that's not me, because I've made responsible life decisions, better life decisions than him. But that's not the innate one. That's not like the default setting. And that's honestly what gives me hope in humanity, is because your default setting usually, it's empathy. They have to drive the empathy out of us. That's like fascism has to do that shit. That's why they dehumanize. That's why racist movements, the KKK, white supremacists, you name it, all of those movements throughout history have had to other and dehumanize the people they are targeting so that you can justify your treatment of them. That's why they dehumanize black people. That's why they dehumanize native people. They do that specifically, and why they're now trying to dehumanize trans people, because your default setting is not to hate. It's not to hate that person. And it's not inherently like, I hate trans people just for existing. You have to be taught that. It has to be programmed into you. That has to be reiterated through every aspect of society, where the very concepts of being gay are associated with being feminine, which is bad, or weak, which is bad. All of these things. Never be gay if you're a man. God damn it, you're a weak man. No, that's not what a masculine true alpha is all about. True alpha slays the pussy. All that kind of shit. It's got to be reinforced over and over and over.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earthhuman, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.